Praise the Lord. Jesus is looking like what the hell?
Good afternoon to my viewers. Good afternoon, Bermuda. We're live at Universal Barbershop on Court Street. This facility has been here for over 70 odd years. So we got some experienced barbers that's coming in. The old crew are going. But we'll come time today to bring the men's talk in the barbershop, Hamilton. We welcome you. Welcome everybody. Hey. Welcome Pastor.
Yay!
Yes. Yeah, we're looking to do things different. Let me come in front of the camera. Good afternoon, everybody. We're looking to do things different. We're trying to branch out and go to a few barbershops throughout the island. That was our intention. And we're looking to continue to let man be a voice in this community. My boy's getting his haircut. Charles is on his way out. Charles, say something real quick.
I wish I could stay. I'll be back.
Yes, good day, everyone. Here we have it. We are here on Court Street, the home to Universal Barbershop. As Trevor just stated, we have some barbers that are in this place that have a whole lot of experience and a whole lot of wisdom that we feel is needed to be shared with not just the young man, but with everyone. Wisdom is something that can be also learned from an ant. So as small as an ant, to those who live in the streets, there are people that we can learn a lot from. There is a saying, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel the warmth from the village.
Yes, indeed.
Today we have a very similar situation that we are facing and dealing with in our island. We have our younger generation that we feel, or they feel, they are not being raised by the village. And what we see happening before our eyes, right in our own island, is a lot of what the proverb says, which is the village being burnt down because the child is not feeling the love. Children, today we want to let you know that we are here for you. We are here to assist you. We are here to help you. We are here to provide guidance, and we are also here to provide wisdom. Learn from the elders and learn from the mistakes of those who have created them already to help save yourself from having to go on that journey and to also find yourself making the same mistakes. I love being right here where we are right now because myself, I grew up around these areas, and I remember when I was young, we had a lot of elders who would be around here that would very much give you a lot of wisdom. They would deter you from the walk of life they went on, and they would also deter you from the walk of life that they were within. I remember Court Street was a street that not just anybody could walk down. When I was young, I used to have a friend of mine who stayed around these areas. And when we used to walk through around here after school, some days in our school class, his dad would pull us aside and say, "What you doing walking around with her?" And the minute we started talking, he would slap us upside our head. And then tell us, "Go home and tell your parents that I gave you a slap upside your head, and tell them where you were." And that's one thing you didn't want to do back then, was tell your parents that you were out on Court Street, because you definitely knew then you were going to get some licks. Where and how we have let a lot of them principles and morals and values go is a question that a lot of us are very much still trying to figure out. I think we definitely do need to incorporate bringing a lot of that back into our way of life so we can have our younger generation not really getting caught up in lifestyles and cultures that very much have dire consequences into their future. Brother Trevor, yourself has been a person who has come from these areas. How does it feel for you even being back in the neighborhood that we once grew up in?
To be honest, I stay right upstairs. Angie's was next door. This place has always been here. Across the street was Basatakas, Chinese, Bamaj, the Grabs. I was brought up right on Court Street. I watched 68 riots, 77 riots, stayed down here at New York Hotel. So this was my playground. Concrete jungle, concrete play. That's what we play. We play cricket on Princess Street, football, close to Rudolph, and that's how we had to survive out here. Any grass we bound on is down Bernard's Park. If you want to play football, we got to go down the park. The youth center was a key place. Pembroke Youth Center was a key place for us. All the boys in Middletown, Happy Valley, Court Street, Parliament Street, Angle Street, Princess Street. We all were at the youth center. We need to bring back that program. The youth center used to save a lot of us boys. It saved me. It saved a lot of us. So we need to get that back up and running. There's a lot of things that we can do that worked back then can work still now. Yeah, I know that change does take place, but some of those programs, we need to bring them back. We have a lot of boys that are slipping through the cracks. And I've always said it, and I'm going to say it again, is we as men do drop the ball. Fathers, drop the ball. I'm going to look right in your eyes and say it again. Fathers, drop the ball. That's why we have a lot of these problems. Mothers can't teach boys how to be men. So we're going to open it up right there. We're going to talk to Pastor Dwayne. Tell us, who is Pastor Dwayne?
Pastor Dwayne is a brother who's been on this earth for 23 years. That's a joke. Plus, altogether, 63 years, and there will be 64 coming this year. But we certainly know that, as has been said by our brothers, that there has been a definite change in this island. And a lot of what we see happening with regards to the antisocial behavior, I didn't foresee it like some people did. I didn't expect that we would be seeing all this unfortunate shootings, killings, murders take place in this island as I have seen it. Even as a believer, it took me completely by surprise in the manner in which we see it happening. And personally, I, along with certainly many others, don't want to become so desensitized to it that we become so used to it, becomes the norm. But every time it happens in relation to someone losing his or her life, more so his life, by gun violence or stabbing or any other type of violence, it hurts your heart. So indeed, Trevor, the men, fathers in particular, have dropped the ball. It is the role of the husband to raise the family. Now, in our 21st century today, some may not think of the biblical mandate that the man is the head of the home. And since we're the head in the true sense, we don't like to hear it, but it rises and falls on the men. And we have left off the spiritual root, the spiritual foundation on which many of us were raised on. Even if we were not churchgoers or Christians, and again, it was the village bringing up the whole child. So if the father forsook his responsibility, thankfully, the uncle or the grandfather stood in. But now we have the generations of the grandfather, perhaps uncles, even fathers, and the sons. A whole generation, if you will, in a sense, is involved in antisocial behavior. To the degree that, correct me if I'm wrong, you may have both grandfather and son and grandson of their grandfather in prison together. So we really need to get back to the foundation. And I like to be able to particularly read a scripture to show you what the Bible says has occurred and is occurring. Scripture tells us in the book of Proverbs, chapter number 30 and verse number 11, there is a generation that curseth their father. And we have that generation today. Doth not bless their mother. We have a generation today that are causing their parents to be afraid of them. Bible also says that there is a generation that are pure in their own eyes. That's this generation. You can't tell them. They would say, what's right to you might be wrong to me, and what's wrong to you might be right to me. They come up with these types of things. There are no absolutes in this generation that we're living in today. Scripture says they're pure in their own eyes, and they're not washed from their own filthiness. There's a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords. They'll curse you. They'll tell you off, And there is a generation, their jaw teeth are as knives to devour the poor from off the earth. That's the generation that we have today. There's a scripture that says that there is a way that seems right to a man, but the ends of that way is the way of death. And this is what we see happening in our island of Bermuda. Because in the Bible, in the book of Judges, the people did what was right in their own eyes. And in a sense, this is what we have today. There's no moral compass, no moral code. There's no absolutes, that gave direction, they gave foundation, that caused people to go in the right direction. So what we have today is simply what the Bible did say. If you get a chance to read it in Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 11 onward, where this generation today is existing. Even as 1 Timothy says in chapter 4, it says this, that in the last days, perilous, dangerous times shall come. This generation. For men shall be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemous, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. And we have this, truce breakers, fierce, incontinent, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. And that's this generation. Scripture says they're disobedient to parents. And this is what we have today. So on and on I could go, my brother, but we realize what is happening in our generation. They have gotten away from the biblical, what I believe, solid, laid foundation of what the majority of us, Trevor, and others of us in here were brought up on. And we see it eroding. There's no longer any desire for God, no desire for what you call authority, giving respect to those in authority, no longer giving respect to, i.e., parents, grandparents. There's no longer respect to uncles or aunties. There's no longer any respect anymore to law enforcement. Thank you, teachers. You go on. The list is endless, and we see this happening today. It's a moral code that has been eroded and is being eroded as we speak. So
How do we fix it?
yeah, that's a good question.
How do we fix it?
How do we fix it?
It's one thing to discuss, and we all know some of the things that were talked about, that we talk about, but how do we fix it? That's what we all need to come to. I'm talking about a collective, everybody in Bermuda, every organization, every political entity needs to come to fixing this issue. We seem to be worrying about success of things, houses, businesses, more money. How do we get back to the basic loving one another?
Good question. Well, the answer to that is so many. One of the things I believe is certainly getting back to the foundation that I believe is God. And the Bible says that the nation that forgets God is turned into hell. And we have a nation that has forgotten God. And I believe that we need to get back, families, parents, fathers, and then mothers, to that which we were brought up on. And I think that is part of the problem, that there are no absolutes. So therefore, because there's no absolutes, men have in their minds and their hearts to do evil. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, just because sentence is not executed speedily, therefore the sons of men have in their hearts to do evil continually. And so this is what we have today. So there is no repercussions. There's no real major punishment for what people do. So they feel like I could constantly do it. And so how do we fix it? Well, as a man of God, I have to go back to the spiritual mandate, spiritual foundation. And not everybody's going to accept that. Not everybody's going to support that, believe that. But again, that's what I came up on. That's what majority of people in this room came up on, and it worked for us. We may have veered off because the scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he becomes old, he won't depart from it. He may stray, but at least he has a foundation. Many of the young men in particular don't have that foundation. So because they don't have that foundation, they just keep going and going and going. So there's no absolutes. They have no really moral compass or focus. They just think that it's okay to act the way they act, behave the way they behave, and they have what you call is only a sense of entitlement to be the way that they are.
Let me put another thought.
Yeah.
Let me put another thought. This is for everybody. So if you feel when you get the mic,
Yeah.
you want to share, you can just
Please
let me
do.
know. This is another thought. Yeah, the individuals that Westgate right now have at least, I think, close to 50%, 40-something% of the population is doing life. So there's no fear for consequences. There's no fear for 25 years to life. And then you get some people who say, well, give them more time. That's not going to correct the behavior.
Not at all. Not at all. And I know as other guys filter into, add into this.
I'm going to go back to you yet
Yeah.
again. How do we fix it?
Well, there needs to be a hard change, a hard transplant, because we could surmise and theorize, but that man, that woman, if you will, but particularly men we're talking about, there needs to be a hard change in them. It's just like anybody who's struggling with drugs or any other type of vice. That person has to make up his or her mind that they do it for, number one, themselves. And then in doing it for themselves, they will be able to then seek to have a change. It's got to say, it's me. I'm the one who needs to change if I'm expecting somebody else to change. And if I still have the same mindset, same mentality, is going to filter over to the other. If I'm not changing, then I feel like I'm justified to remain the same. Then it's not going to be a major change for somebody else. You know what I mean? Let me give up the mic for somebody else to have while I cut my customer.
Can I come down to you, sir? I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down to one of the elders here. I consider you an elder. Tell us about you, your journey, and what you see, how you see Bermuda change.
Oh, Lord. Well, it's a whole lot of change that take place since I've been here. I came here 2005, and as we all can testify, it's a total different island from the one from 2005 until now. I mean, you could pass and everybody would be high and it's all okay. But now you have to approach with caution. You talk to people, but at the same time, you got to be careful. There's no hope in hand or that level of receptiveness and smiling face as it used to be. And indeed, from 2005 until now, it might be a long time, but in terms of where the country is coming from, it's a short time based on the level of discipline that used to exist. And the thing is, how did it reach so fast? You know what I mean? How did it reach so fast? And the question that you asked, Pastor, as men, we drop the ball. But is it really true? Or our privilege as fathers and as parents is being taken away? Because I'm sure that when you was coming up as a child, and all of us in my age group, and Fitzy who is coming, can testify that there are places that you couldn't go at a certain time, you couldn't go in. You have to give account of where you are coming from and who you are with. There are things that you cannot do because the consequence will be great. And there are times, depends on what it is. I, for myself, probably I'd have to sleep outside. Or my father or my uncle, they are the one who take charge, other than my grandmother, because I grew up with my grandmother. And if it was beyond her, then a male would get into the picture. But now as fathers, you exercise certain level of discipline. You're gone to the court. Now, is it that the government play a part of it? Or they are being forced to do that they are doing to create the generation or the country that we all are living in? I don't know. Maybe somebody can share their views on that. I mean, because as somebody say, you could, you made a comment that you could sit on Court Street, you could see a child or whatever when he was coming up and say, tell your parents where you was if I slap you and all of that. Dare anybody to do it now? Why that level of caring for the same human race and the same family gone and so many people end up in prison? I don't know. Maybe Fitzy or somebody else can share their views. Hopefully I'm not taking it too far.
No. That's good, Brad. We're open to any. This is Man Talk in the barbershop, and in the barbershop there's many discussions. As I've learned from the years of I've been on this earth, real talk happens in the barbershop. Man talk in the barbershop. So we're open to any discussion.
Yes, good afternoon, people. I don't really think a whole formal introduction is necessary. Everybody knows who I am. This is an interesting topic, and I'm loving it. I will say that there are many different views on this, but I'm going to address one based on my childhood. And I don't really hide nothing. So I came up in a drug-induced family. So at 14, I was able to run these streets and use drugs, and there were no consequence. No, me getting high with my father, was that fatherly love? No, both of us are caught up in addiction. Because at 14, I should not have been on heroin and cocaine. I should not even know nothing about that. But in order for me to spend time with my father, these are the things I had to go down to his house with, in order for him to give me his time. So right there you see where the ball is dropped. We could look at this thing 100 different ways. But the fact of the matter is that when fathers are not playing their role in their sons' lives, right, the son could end up anywhere going in any direction, right as far as to the grave, as we see today. So we could say the system this, the system that. We could go all over the place. And yes, there are many different factors that contribute as to why Bermuda is where it's at today. But I personally believe, based on my own childhood, and I know my story is not one that's uncommon, right? Fathers have to play a role in their sons' lives. Have to, and they have to be positive and give them a sense of guidance and direction. Because if not, if the streets raised them like how the streets raised me, even though I was here with my mama, she couldn't tell me what to do. At 14, she couldn't even tell me what to do. At 14 years old, imagine that. How is a 14-year-old kid allowed to be on heroin and cocaine and go to school and leave school and come right back on Court Street? And that went on for many years. So I ended up streets and prison. That was my life story. And it's only been 9 years ago that I managed to find a way to start putting my life back together and rebuild. So I know from first-hand experience, right, what happens when there is no father in a kid's life, particularly a boy. Because if the parents don't raise you and the streets raise you, this is the story. It's jail, institution, and death. So how do we fix this? There's many ways to fix this, but guess what? No one person can fix this. No one person should be blamed for this. We all have to come together, if we could that much, and see how we could actually fix this. And that means us coming together and working together. And first and foremost, us fathers accepting when we drop the ball. Now, I have an example, and a very good one. And I will go as far as to say next to perfect as I'm seeing. There's a young man who comes to this barbershop every day, and his father is diligently in his life. And the level of respect that this young man shares, right? You can see that he's raised by his father. Not just his mother, but his father. When he comes through this door, he greets you with respect. Most guys he says come in this door like you want something. This young man comes see him with grace and is humble and is very respectful. Now, that's because his father's in his life right up until today. Now, how often do we see that? We don't see that often. But I'm saying that to say that you can see the difference when a father is actively involved in the son's life. So for me, most of you guys are broken. Even when we become fathers, we make kids and we're broken. So we're raising our kids off our brokenness. Are these kids getting the right guidance? Absolutely not. So there's many ways to fix it, but one of the things that has to happen, fathers need to be actively involved in their sons' lives, because a father could definitely raise a son. A woman's not going to be able to do that. I don't care how much she tries, she's not going to be able to do that. A young man always looks to his father for approval. That's where he gets his solidification as to, am I man yet? He don't get that from mama.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? He gets that from his father. So my thing for me, I will always stress the point that fathers need to play a part in their kids' lives. Don't give them a game to play with. Don't give them a bike to ride. Give them your time. Give them your love. Give them your attention. You know what I mean? If you're structured, you can instill that same structure in your kid. But if you ain't structured, where that kid's going? He's going to follow you the same way I followed my daddy. I followed my daddy right to the pipe.
So what do you say, if a father's not structured, how can that help the child?
So again, if the father's broken, right?
Yeah.
And his still stuck in his brokenness, that's the only thing he can offer that kid.
Right. So what would be the solution for that child?
The solution will hopefully somebody in the family, uncle, some male figure could intervene and say, you know what, let me help you out, boy. And this is not to take away from his father.
No.
Because you can't condemn a man because he's broken. He's just broken. He needs help too. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's an island. You know what I mean? So it's not about condemning. It's about being honest enough to accept what the truth is and see how we can navigate going forward to bring about better for our kids.
Yes.
Because it's not even about we guys anymore. It's about this generation. And as you see, this generation right now is completely lost. They got four things going on. They're neglected, they're rejected, they're hurt, and they're confused. How do you not want that mind to pick up a gun? I mean, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, how do you want that kid to come and act like it's coming from such a structured him? It's impossible. You understand what I'm saying? It's impossible. So we need to do our part. Because once upon a time, I couldn't walk on Court Street and come across an old lady and just carrying groceries and walk right across them. I better take that bag of groceries. That's the era I came up here. You know what I mean? Because even though I wasn't raised by my father, up until 14 years old, I had to follow some water because I was raised by my grandma. But after that, the structure went right out the door.
Would you say the TV and the radio has an influence on children?
Most definitely. Because what we're doing today, we're allowing the devices to raise our kids. So the device gives the kids much more time than we do.
Right.
The device is actually giving us relationship. We don't even know our partners anymore because it's all about the device.
Yeah.
So what are we really doing as parents?
Yeah.
Because all of this starts with us.
Yes.
But what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass the mic to my brother right here and let him run.
Yeah. Oh, I chipped this one.
I don't want to take too much time.
No, we just talk. Yeah, it's just no. I like conversations like this where everybody gets together and says their input and feel free. Anybody has anything to say, just say it. Hey, there's no, act like the camera's not even here. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, because as children growing up, everybody's got to understand. Children is very impressionable. So anything you do around children, they're gonna take up. They're gonna suck it in like a vacuum, suck it like a sponge. You know what I mean? So anything they put on TV, anything they advertise to children, they have to watch what you're doing. Because some will call it like a soft opening. All these things, even what's going on around here today, you gotta watch what we say and do around children. Even certain music they play. Yeah, like you was talking about youths picking up guns. And how can they do that? But when you, it's like this. If I have this iPad right here, this iPad, say let's say I make these iPads. I make them. And now I want to advertise this iPad. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go on the radio. I'm going to probably go on the TV, make flyers, advertise this iPad. Now, so what's going on in the world right now is you got children listening to music that's advertising guns. This is like the marketing. It's a big market campaign, you may as well call it. And the market campaign is big. It's big. It's a big campaign going on right now. And it's coming in a fashion. It's a big fashion now. So when you're marketing something that's to a child that's impressionable, and you're glorifying it, they want to do it. Straight away, they want to do it. Even if sometimes they come from a structured home. They hang around the purse, and they are easily influenced too, because it's glorified on the radio. Right from guns, from drugs, music, all that's getting glorified to the children in a way where it's not good. It's not good. Now you will ask the question, what's the solution? How can we stop? What can we do for the children to not listen to it? Because what's going to happen? I can't see music changing. I can't see them, like, because it's they make a lot of money from it. Like, you know what I mean? Talking foolishness sells.
From him, they're going to heard in school. They're going to heard walking for somebody south. They're going to heard in the car.
They're going to heard somewhere. You can't get away from it.
What he said was attention. We have to put down the devices and give them some attention.
That's right.
You know, you ever heard the saying, brothers? Is another way how to spell love for our children? T-I-M-E.
Time.
Time.
Yep.
Time we spend quality time, you know, with our sons and daughters, and that's what's missing a lot of. And so again, another way to spell love is T-I-M-E. Another way to spell love, also, if you will, is W-O-R-K. You need to work, get a job, take care of family, take care of responsibilities, and a lot of our generation today has not been brought up on a working solid foundation. So that's what's missing. And I believe Fitzy alluded to it, and he said he wanted to be with his father. Whatever it took to please his daddy, that's what it took. So he was able to come. Daddy would say, well, hey, you ain't got no drugs. You can't have no fellowship with me. So to please his daddy, he had was to get drugs, maybe even break the law, as he's told us here in this barbershop plenty of times, to get the money, to get the drug, to take it to his daddy, and he and his daddy get high, and he felt a sense of self-worth after that too, because he's being with his father. So can you think about that from the negative standpoint, then look at it from the positive standpoint, that we're able to amplify or to be an example to our sons in particular, and we'll be able to allow them to mirror what we want them to be, because it's more caught than taught. It's more caught. It's not so much what we say, but it's what we do, and they catch it, and then they end up doing it. So we'll be able to model, because remember, Brother Eddie was talking. Even Eddie has some good points as we were talking here in the chair, which he's going to add to that dimension. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Eddie while I cut his hair.
Afternoon, guys. Trevor mentioned about the amount of jumpmen that we have up at Westgate, incarcerated. Right? Most of these guys have like 3, 4 children. So the mothers have to bring them up. And somebody drew on that a mother really can't bring up a man. It's pretty hard. You can try. And one thing I've learned, mothers always protect a man. They baby him. A guy could wake up every morning, say good morning to his mama, and don't do a stitch of work. But when any mama comes in, she feed him. When I came up, my mama worked 2 jobs. My mama worked Hamilton Princess Days, Emerald Nights. And when she left, you better leave too. There's no way you're going to lay in the bed and she's going to do 2 jobs and y'all going to eat off her hard work. That's what happens in Bermuda right now. Mama's baby, the sons, right? And the other thing I meant to say was, a lot of these guys, okay, the fathers doing life, the fathers. But the neighborhood don't have sufficient role models, right? I work Hamilton Princess. I've hired like maybe about 3 young guys. And I just tell them, look, make your time, do your work. And you got an $800 firm. but you come work late every day. I mean, you can't just get on your phone and call me to say I'm running late. I said, like, so now the mayor wants to fire you, and you're complaining. I said, technology, we didn't have cell phones on that day. You had to find a pay phone to call your boss to tell him you're running late. They had the phones in their pockets and can call to say they're running late. So what I'm trying to say is they need role models that can guide them in the right way, right? A lot of, look, a guy told me he can't work with me because he can't go home with $800 when he can make $1,500 to $1,600 juggling on the street. So that's the mindset that a lot of these, and the mamas are like, long as he's bringing it home, it's okay. But then when he gets caught with the law, the mama's crying, not my son. Why are you going to lock my son up? But you didn't know what he was doing in the beginning. So what I'm trying to say is role models. And not a small thing is talking about technology. Bermuda cannot produce no quality sportsmen anymore. Because as soon as a little boy gets in, he wants his PlayStation 5, his Xbox. In my day, if training was 3 days a week, you been training the whole 3 days a week. Cricket, you play it. You ever seen, I tell you what, has anybody been on the street seeing guys playing tennis ball cricket? When I went church here, the first thing I made was a cricket bet. And you play cricket. But we produce some of the best sportsmen in the world. Now, I'm going to be straight up. You guys might think I'm being rude. We produce Cheerio sports guys. Right? We had, my time, had 100 guys trying to play for the national sport. They have a pool of about 20, and that's about it. Right? So, it's a lot to do. And the other thing is, and this is politics. Bermuda has priced us out of the market, and families cannot. It's hard to make ends meet in Bermuda right now. It's hard. Right. And like you're saying, how do we deal with this? It's hard because the politicians have put us in places like this. Both parties. Both parties. No, I ain't saying black or white. Bermuda, I mean, come on, you can't even get a 2-bedroom apartment for under $2,000. But minimum wage is 60 and 40. Yeah. But minimum wage is 60 and 40. So how do you survive with minimum? Like you said the right word. You can't make it. But I don't want to hurl up everybody.
My thing is, if you're a leader of a country, I'm a leader. Oh, everybody here is my children. So I'm supposed to look out for my people like they are my children. If you want to help, it's that simple, help. If it's not, it ain't got to be all complicated. It ain't got to be too complicated, man. If you want to help, then help. You know what I mean? You got mamas working 2 and 3 jobs. They come home, they're so tired. They can't even talk to the children. They're so tired. The children goes to the phone. The phone is the parent. They go to school, the teachers got them. If you don't know what they're learning in school, I have my stepson. I was in the car with him. He likes Sonic. Let me show you how the kids' minds are. He likes Sonic, right? So I saw the female characters to Sonic. True story. I printed it off. Right in my shop next door. I printed it off. I said, look, I got the female Sonic characters. He's only 8 years old at the time. I said, look, I got the female Sonic characters. He said, oh no, Sonic got a gender change. This is an 8-year-old talking about gender change. You see what I'm saying? You see what seeds they're putting in these children's mind? Soft opening. This is what I'm trying to say. This is a disaster if you ask me. Because I didn't even know what that meant when I was a child. You know what I mean? A little child. I'm just saying, look, Sonic's girlfriend. When I grew up, everybody say, oh, you got a girlfriend, you got a girl. That was the thing. So you knew that, yeah, the boyfriend, girlfriend. That's what you knew. The kids are coming up with all sorts of stuff. When they go to school, you don't know what they're learning. Like, it's all different things. So we as leaders, I always had this thing with myself. If I saw a leader, you should talk about role models. This is how I see a leader. A leader wakes up every morning at 6. He does his meditation. He trains hard in the gym. Every day he works out. Bad in the arts. He knows how to eat. He eats all fruits, veggies, nuts, berries, peanuts, trains. Mind focus. This is what I call a leader. You don't know leader coming up with, oh, this man's been doing this with this man, or this man's cheating his wife newspaper. That's some joke, man. What type of leader? You just don't know real. That's not leader, man. Oh, this man, you heard a report about this man's doing something for the next man, or this man's ripping off somebody or something that ain't even making sense to a real man. It doesn't even make sense. It sounds like some schoolyard when you're in the yard with your bedroom and you're talking about somebody. Oh, your boy done that. It's not even. We don't have damn leaders no more. We'll be reading them. Because if you, they should have martial arts in school. They should teach children martial arts in school from small. Discipline. They should have some discipline. Teach them that in school. Martial arts, and that would show them something. And that would bring them respect. That would show them respect. Because when they come to that class, the teacher will let them know, look, hey, what's going on? You can't be doing certain things. That's what we should have. To to build up our community and our community. Because we're all supposed to be together. The only thing that divides us is just certain money, certain income.
Anyway, my name is James. I didn't grow up on Court Street, but I've been on this street for over 20 years, and it's enough to tell me what is going on around here. But anyway, I once wanted to tap on a few things. Discipline. I remember when I first came to Bermuda, I came here 2002, November 5th. Never forget. I walked down the road to catch the bus the next day. A group of kids was walking up the road from school. They all stopped and said, "Good afternoon." My head grew. I've never seen something like that before. I said, mercy. The level of respect. Now, kids walking through this barbershop doors and don't say good afternoon. And the worst part of it is they're coming in with their mothers and their fathers. Mothers are saying good afternoon. The children is not saying anything. Fathers are saying good afternoon. Children are not saying anything. And I remember in the earlier days, if a mother or father walking with a child and the child don't say nothing, that child has to go back through the door. Go back through the door. And once you go back to the door, mama or daddy don't have to tell you what to do. You know exactly what to do because you missed your place. The next thing, I'm here, as I said before, over 20 years. And I know I'm not going to be here forever. I am dying to train some youths. So at least when I leave Bermuda, there is a legacy. Somebody can be doing something and said, this guy trained me. There is nobody. They come, they stay for a few weeks and they're gone. I want somebody to train. My next topic is trade for the youths. This is how far I am looking. If Bermuda not training some of these youths, do you know what's going to happen? Bermuda going to have to bring in trade people in which is something that they don't want to do. Because they would like to know that whatever trading is going on here is Bermudians. But there is no facilities to facilitate the youths. It's not everybody academically wise going to be a doctor, a lawyer, etc. So a lot of youths are very good with their hands. So is that going to go to perish? We need facilities for the youth. Mr. Government, we need facilities so they can go and learn to do what they love. Anyway, I say my piece.
Hang on. I want to totally agree with what you're saying. Trade schools has always been a black man's art. We work better with our hands.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Okay? I'm not trying to call it black or white, but that's what we do.
Yes, indeed.
Hotel work, carpentry, motor mechanics, metal work, electrician, plumbers.
Yes.
Them trades are always going to be still needed, you know.
And Bermuda
Masons.
is lacking
So-
that now because the whole tradesmen are going. So when they're gone, who's taking their place? If nobody taking their place,
Open discussion.
if nobody taking their place, what do you think would happen? Bermuda going to have to bring them in. And I would believe that's not what they want to do.
For those just coming in, but just got an open discussion, male talk in the barbershop. We talk about any and everything in the barbershop. So if you feel free, you want to say something, you know. Yeah.
Basically, what everybody's basically just saying, it's covered a lot of avenues and a lot of areas, yeah? But we have to look at ourselves, right? We have to look at ourselves. As Bermudians, we complain about foreigners being here working in our island, right? And worked around the world, you understand? And but one of the things that I've always said is that we need to get up and go work. We need to get up and go work, bro. When I go out, do what I'm gonna do, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning I get in, 6 o'clock I'm up going to work. You understand? My mother used to be sick. She used to work on the base. Yeah? Go work with the flu. I say, Mom, where you going? Oh, I'm going to work. Going to work, you're sick. I got the flu. Let me tell you something, son. As long as you could get out of this bed, go to work. And that's how I was brought up. You understand? Go to work. Let your employer send you home. You understand? Touching on what James said. James wasn't here. He said it's been here 23 years. So let's go back. So the guys could correct me if I'm wrong. 40 years ago, they closed on Technical Institute.
That's right. Come on.
And not Cunningham's. The other one were Howard Academy, right? The two top schools in Bermuda. And I'm going to say it, the two black schools in Bermuda. You understand? So that was all designed for a reason. That was designed for a reason. Because the technical school, right, taught us all the trades. Right? All the trades, bruh. Mechanical, masons. You know, in those days, a guy, like you said, guys said they weren't, you know, everybody wasn't going to be a lawyer, doctor, actuary, or accountant. You understand? So when they closed that school down, the UBP closed that school down, bruh. Right? And they were the rulers in this island for 36 years. You understand? And that was designed to bring in overseas, right, workers. You understand? To get all the big contractors, yeah, and use us as the subcontractors. Yeah? And they're still doing that. I just drove on Front Street just now. The place where Frank Arnold here, Montserrat, right? Right? The D&J putting the fencing around it, right? Renovation. But guess what? He's the lead contractor. And then he's going to get us, right? I'm straight up to bring in to be the subcontractors, right? We're going to get a little piece. You understand? And government, whether it's OBA, PLP, right? Let me tell you something, bro. If people are voting because we're black, okay? If they're voting for a black, right? Well, they better jump on they better get some weights. Let me take them out on the boat. Yeah. We're going to boat, you know. We're going to boat. We take you out. We put the weights on you. Right? Yeah. But about this here?
It's about performance.
Oh, we're voting because what, this color? Bro, what's going on? We still got black. We still got youth killing youth. You understand? Right? They convicted this guy the other day. No evidence. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody. They can't say when the murder happened. Nothing, brother. and then he stooped, and then the ignorant thing about it, you send the goddamn jury home over Christmas. Who does that? Where does that happen anywhere in the world?
But they say that when it comes around to December the 18th, a jurors is the mind is now on Christmas. So
I understand all that.
They quoted right
Don't
there.
Don't make no excuses.
Yeah.
Y'all making an excuse.
No, I'm not making excuses. That's the reason that I got.
Okay. Well, that's the
reason that I got.
That's somebody. The Chief Justice and whoever was presiding over that case, they should be all fired, bro. They should be all fired. Because you're not going to tell me that you're going here on Christmas, me and Fitz is in the same family, right? And what Bender, right? And you're not going to tell me that me and Fitz is not going to talk about the case of his a juror? Huh? It's in our nature, bro. It's in our nature. You understand what I'm saying? It's in our nature. And I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you. And then even the guy that got off the other day, no evidence. No evidence. But they say because you're charged, right, you still have to go to court. Even if you've got witnesses to say that you wasn't the one that was the shooter or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? This whole system's got to change, bro. Right? And let me tell you something. I've been coming here since I was 12 years old. All you guys been this barbershop. You understand? Since I was 12 years old. Coming and got my haircut before I went to school. You understand? They never had police officers monitoring out here. Never. Okay? Or there was the strip. Never. Okay? Until Dennis Gordon and those guys came to Bermuda. I think Dennis Gordon was Bayesian. Yeah? Right? And one day he told me, right there, boys, outside the door, he said, hey, bro, what you doing out here, bro? You know, I have police officers out here. And some days went on. He said, let me tell you something, Jerome. Always remember this. It's a black law and it's a white law. Okay? Look at what happens when it comes to us, when we commit a crime, and what happens to them when they commit a crime. You know. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, look at what happens, bro.
I've always said, why is it 99.9% of blacks have escaped? 99.9% of blacks have escaped.
I'll give you an example. The guy, the colonel in the regiment, the colonel, right? He's appointed by the governor. You understand? Okay? He committed one of the biggest crimes in Bermuda, bro. You understand? The other one supposed to be there. Supposed to be there. We ain't seen nobody, but it's supposed to be there. You understand? Right? So what he gets? A 6 months conditional discharge. The colonel.
What they know?
It's black and white, bro. It's black and white. It's plain. Right? But if it was me or you, we'd have got about probably 10 or 15 years incarcerated.
So let's talk about you talk about election, and I'm thinking the elections is somewhere between now and Christmas.
Let's talk about it. Bring it on.
You said, and it should be about performance. If you haven't performed, you're a politician, you ain't performed, and ain't no way you can get my vote.
Correct.
You agree?
Correct. Yeah. Because let me tell you something. You're there because of the people. You understand? Right? We have a lot of politicians come here. I guess this is the only time we can get the run out in here. But don't try to call the office and try to arrange an appointment with them. It's not going to happen. You understand? But I also said, and I want everybody to remember this. We vote because of this. Call out. Right? You guys are talking about women doing 2 jobs and 3 jobs. Yeah? Right? What about the men? The men, some of them do 2 jobs. What about the men that don't go home? Huh? They go to the bar 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Don't go home to see if the children done the homework. Don't go home to cook. Don't go home to make sure that the family is secure. Right? Go home first. When you do all that, right? Then I'll say, what's your name, babe? Jamila? Jamila, look. Going up to wherever I have a wine or whatever. If something comes up, I hope I'm sitting to the bar when she calls.
Priorities.
Yeah, do you? Who, the man? Well, I'm talking about the men that have children.
Some of them got children that's single, but they're not with the mama.
Some of them have,
the mama don't even say.
brother, some women have babies for a guy and they don't see the guy no more.
Yeah, all that.
Right? But you want to come and give me a cigar. But you can't even buy no milk or pampers or nothing for the child.
Are you against women that have babies with the men And even like say some women have to carry a deal like, oh, he cheated on me, I'm hurling from his son.
No, bro. No.
That's wrong, isn't it?
Bro, listen. I'm going through something now. My children are in England. You understand what I'm saying? Right? A child, and maybe you guys not everybody believe this, but this is my opinion. A children needs both parents, but a children needs the mother. You understand? A child needs the mother, and there's a father too. You understand? And right? But they need both parents, right? But what I'm saying is, right, is that the fathers that are married, the fathers that are in a relationship with the fiancés or whatever, and they stay together, right? Go in. You know, my son might drive the bus nights. I'm doing down the country. I'm seeing children like 3, 4 years old, 9 o'clock in the night. They're walking on the street. Yeah, riding a push bike. I call police operations because that's my responsibility. What this child doing out that late in the night? You understand what I'm saying? Again, because possibly, that the father's not here, and the mother, like you said earlier, has got to do 2 or 3 jobs. Yeah, you understand?
But let me say this. I'm endeavoring to have a discussion with women, a roundtable discussion with mothers, with women, so they can put their voices out there, because man talk is about man, and a lot of times women feel like they're being bashed. Okay, not every man is bad, and not every father not every father doesn't deal with their children. We have some children today. Let's put it this way: today we have a lot of fathers that are single fathers that have their children. Children don't have no mom. Moms are having babies and dropping them at the father's door. Okay, so there are a lot of single fathers that are doing what they have to do, but we're looking to have a talk with women so you can have a voice and share your concern and frustrations and applauses. Yeah?
But I will say this here, and from my observation,
take the mic.
From my observation, from my studying, reading, that almost every ill that we see in society, every dysfunction, if you was able to go back to his roots, is where a man failed to be what he needed to be. Serious. I'm serious. Like if we talk about a guy who can't handle a woman, yeah, she's this and that. Well, do a social inquiry report. Go back to, was she fathered? Did she have a father in the family? And if it weren't a father, then she was raised predominantly by her mother, who was bitter, who was stressed out, raising her on her own, and all she saw was mama in the independent woman role with no support of a man. And I'm sorry, almost every social ill that you see, and I even look at my own personal life, where I failed to be what I needed to be as a man, and see the fallout from that. I'm going to look at me first. You know what I mean? And there ain't too many men that's going to be self-aware and look within and say, well, look back and say, hey, I was still playing the boy when I should have been stepping up as a man. Almost every social ill at its root is where a man failed to be what he needed to be as a man. Serious. And it's because even the man failing to be what he should be as a man. I'm look back in my family and see where my grandpa, he was raised by a stepfather. And I was told by my auntie, his half sister, that he was beaten literally like a stepchild. So that was the only model or reference point he had to fathering. What happened when he became a father? How did he discipline and raise his children? And not only that, the child who was trauma from getting beatings like that from a man who ran his daddy. You know what I mean? How did he show up in relationships as a man? You know what I mean? It's a lot
of molestation. Children get molested. Let's talk about that too. You see these children on here.
Like child who are trauma. Like boys are traumatized by either a toxic masculine man, a man in his wounded masculine, or raised by a woman in her wounded feminine. You know what I mean? So that's equally as traumatic on both ends. So what happens when he grows up? His example of a father is to only beat. And then or discipline that child without no kind of talking and love to go with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what happens when he goes to school?
And then when he goes to school, he's acting out. And then when he grows up as a man, he's quick to anger. And then
you know what happens in school? The teacher tells the little boy, "Why you acting like that?" He never act. He never go to that like how you go to that to say, "How is this household?" They just attack the child and say, "Look, you're doing wrong. Go into this." They just attack the child. And they don't even say, "Oh, they can't tell people how to." They don't say like, "Oh, this child."
Let me ask you one quick question.
They just attack
One
the
quick,
child.
and I guess this question goes for all the guys because I'm sitting here and I'm listening, right? And what I want to know is, what is the definition of a man?
A provider, protector, and a controller for his family.
Yeah.
And the definition of a boy is one who depends on his father for his basic essentials of life. That's the definition.
I could give you a different definition, dude.
Well, that's cool.
A provider, protector is.
And I'm sure.
Yeah.
I asked that question because if one could describe what the definition of a man is, how are we not able to teach our boys to become men?
Okay, that's good. But let me see what I just want to see. What was your definition?
I read a book called Entering Her Vortex. You know, people who are friends with me on Facebook, Instagram, I post pages of it, you know, the face of the book about it. Masculinity and femininity has to be balanced within a man. Because if a man is like, true masculinity, like he outlines what comes under the umbrella of masculinity. Consistency, having rules and laws and discipline, structure, order in his life. Whereas the feminine is about the flow and intuition. So to give it a practical way how to look at it in real life, a man who has order and structure and discipline and keeps rigid rules and ways of life, when he meets a woman, she comes into his life and she just flows with what he has already established in his masculinity. But, and also enhance it. But when a man is overly masculine, he's overly rigid, he has to have an element of femininity in him to go with the flow with things sometimes. So to answer your question, what is a real definition of a man? A man who is balanced in his masculine and feminine. Because he knows about order and he knows about structure and keeping certain things he can't budge on. But there he also knows when to yield to certain things as well, understanding, you know, be condescending and understand, you know, a person's condition, they're just a child or whatever. And, you know,
and not too controlling.
And not too controlling, because that's toxic masculinity.
The reason I asked that question, right, is because most of us knew, right, if you got two kids, one boy and one girl, I could guarantee you that little boy is going to be raised to be insensitive. If this little girl fell and scraped her knee, the first thing we do, come here to daddy, girl, daddy's got you. We comfort her. That little boy, does she say anything? Get up, boy. You know what I mean? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a little boy. He's experiencing the same pain his sister did. So why don't we get up and say, come here, it's all right, daddy's got you. Why we don't do that? So yeah.
Because let me show you why I say I do it for my son. It's because he's still 7 years old and he's just learning. His emotions are just coming into play. He don't know nothing. All they need is love. Okay, all they need is attention. I do that for my son. Okay, when my son and my daughter, and yes, I've got a boy and a girl under my roof. I handle her one way and I handle him another way. But I show him, listen, you don't handle her like that. Come here, give me that love. And yeah, I kiss both of them. And I tell both of them I love them. You know what I mean? So we got to remember that they're just children and they're learning. And it's we that is to teach them.
So now, right? Because where I'm going with this is, when that little boy is now 21, he ain't 7 no more, and he's been raised to be insensitive to feelings. When he gets 21 now, and that young lady is doing something that in his mind he doesn't like or he doesn't want to accept, what does he do? He responds insensitive. Now where did he learn that from? From when he was 7, get up by your man. No, it's not. No, it's not. So what I'm saying is, right? What I'm saying is, we need to be mindful right, on what we teach, because most of Fritz's behavior was learned behavior. You understand what I'm saying? Trust me.
Another aspect, right? Single mothers, stressed out, bitter from a relationship with daddy, raising a boy that reminds her so much of her daddy, and plus boys do what they do. When she cuts his tail, she's cutting his tail out in anger and frustration.
I've experienced that, so I know exactly what you're saying.
What is she teaching that boy? How to lash out when they're angry.
Yeah.
So when this boy gets older and hits the street, the slightest thing a guy says to him, his response. Now remember, I said the masculinity is about being disciplined and structure and all that here, and the feminine is about going with the flow. Mama's going with the flow of her feelings.
Yeah.
And shit, that's learned behavior. So when he becomes a man, his acting feminine thinking is masculine.
So okay,
Let
so
me say
check
something.
this. Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is a woman's nature, by nature, is to nurture. A man's nature is, to be masculine, manly, protect. Like that's just the nature of man. So, like you say, if you got children, obviously, man, we love our children. But if your girl fell down and your boy fell down, you're gonna treat the boy a little different from where you'll treat the girl, because it's a boy. But not in a bad way though. Not in a bad way. Of course, not in a bad way. Because when I fell down, my daddy told me get up, and I got a stepson right now. I love him like my own son. And I take care of him, go to school, do everything, and it didn't make me insensitive. So to each, I guess you could probably say to everybody, it will probably affect everybody different. You can't say it on a whole. You might say certain individual children, it could affect certain individual children. You could probably say it like that. But as men, our natural instinct, we don't want no soft flower little boy. You know what I mean? We want our boy be like. But it's what you say. It's how you do it. Right. Now you don't just tell him get up and just leave him crying, and you tell him get up. You say look. You say get up, man. Let me see. That's small, man. I used to get marks like that when I was younger, man. I just brushed it off. It's how you talk to him, how you make him feel. You don't make him feel like, say, yeah, look, man, there ain't nothing, man. Let's brush it off. Let's go. Come on, you all right? And then you talk to him. But a woman's nature now, a woman will sometimes think the daddy's being too hard, because that's how the women is. And you can't knock them, because that's a woman's nature. A woman's is current. They want to care. You know what I mean? A lot of children get grown up by their mamas, whether it's the granny, whether it's the auntie, whether it's...
I could differ with what you said, because I'm going to use my own experience.
But not in a bad way. It's how you do it.
I'm going to say my son, and everybody said, he's an old boy. That boy was 3 months. He jumped from his bed, put the pillow down on the floor, jump on the pillow. Right. Missed the pillow, hit his head, tooth flew out.
Oh, that's a bit of scream.
Okay? But
like
he's a boy, and I had to remember he's a boy.
Right.
We went down to the hospital, we took the tooth, we put it in milk. The doctor says, well, it's nothing we can do. All that crazy stuff, you know what I mean? And today, his device is hard. You know what I mean? So we have different, we handle them different depending on the situation.
Yes, depending on the situation.
Okay? You know what I mean? And I always go back to love is what they need.
Love is what they need.
Okay?
Love.
Eddie wants to say something. Eddie?
Love is the main ingredient.
I don't want to be too insensitive. I know there's a lady here and a young girl. We were talking about role models for men, right? And I've noticed in the last few years how Bermuda's turning. Now this might upset a few people, but I want guys' opinion on two women bringing up a man. I'm going on to this. I'm going on to the same sex thing. I'm going there. But I want people's opinion because it's out there, and the government is letting them do whatever you want to do. So give me I want people's opinion because
I don't know, but look, I don't know if that could be answered. You know why?
No, I want people's opinion.
Listen. I mean, let's not get distracted, right? And let's call it for what it is. No, if you're speaking on the basis of two gay women bringing up a kid, right? But you never elaborate on the relationship.
I say how Bermuda's good now.
No, the thing is, right? The thing is,
the government has opened up.
Stop pushing that
to
on
say
our
where
children, which is
two
bad.
women can adopt a little boy, two men can adopt a
right, Rich is crazy. So the thing is, right? I think we all know that that's not right. Right? We all know that that's not right. But again, when we're speaking to our government, right? When we look at that, right? What we should be seeing is what type of government have we got? Because although we believe that we got two different governments, we got one government. No matter which way you want to look at it. Okay? So no, yeah, we're gonna get back to.
Let me bring it back. Bring some water back in. It ain't no one. It ain't no one in this facility right now that's in that relationship. So no one. We can't talk about that because that's not our lifestyle. Okay? No disrespect. No disrespect. But
Because in certain family households, right? If you got two men growing up a child, and this child is an innocent child, impressionable child, and you know he hears noises coming out of the room. He don't know what's going on. He's confused. This child don't. He don't know. Or children supposed to grow up with nature. Nature says, "Mama, Daddy." I'm not a. Listen, if you wanna go with whoever, I don't care if it's the dog. You just gotta. It's your individual choice, but you gotta have respect for the children. You don't have to. You wanna be with another guy just like you? Fine. You know you wanna have a child? Come on, you gotta, and then what? Bring him into the household where he sees what your dirty boxes right there, the other man's boxes right there. What is he gonna do? Come in the bed, eat popcorn, watch a movie together in the middle? Because that's what I do with my girlfriend. I sit in the middle.
like I said, let's come back. Let's come back. We gotta. It's okay.
But just know it can affect the child.
Yes, sir. We got a female in the barbershop today that came specifically to share with us.
Okay.
Not to share, but okay. But jump in. Give me something. Say something.
Well, so far, the gentleman and Ryan, I both agree with them. It's the breakdown in our country. It's a serious breakdown. Men are not being men, like I've heard, and grandmothers are not being grandmothers. My grandmother raised me when my mama wanted to work 2 and 3 jobs. You know, so I had that wisdom and knowledge and all imparted in me. These children these days can't have that. They don't have that because grannies don't even want to be called grannies no more. They got all sorts of names, you know. And I have heard personally, my friend, I'm 46 years old, she told her daughter in front of me that she ain't watching her child. She's got her own life. You know what I'm saying? But the daughter just wants to get ahead. She wanted a little bit of support. But people are for themselves these days, and we don't have a village anymore. There is no village. There is no accountability in this country, and that's our problem. Trevor, that's all I have to say.
I appreciate that, Val. Yeah, yes, all right. You know, you got that back in the camera there.
Where it's a breakdown, you're going to have a breakdown in society. In the family, it's a breakdown, society is breakdown.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem right there. The breakdown of the family. That's part of the issue. It's not just man. It's a breakdown of the family. That's where the problem is that we're having. So we need to come back as families. Families need to respect one another. Families need to look out to one another. Hold on. Let me give you what I see. What I see. Close the door there, bro. Come here. Let me show you what I see. I see funerals. I see a lot of funerals. And at the funerals, even before Nana, Daddy, Mama is buried, there's argument and fighting over stuff. I put something out on social media the other day. When we came into this world, we came with nothing. And when we leave, we will leave with nothing. Stop fighting over stuff. So family, let's bring it back. Let's be families. Let's love one another. Let's support one another. We all make mistakes. We all mess up. It's called life. But you don't give up on. My mama never gave up on me. My sisters never gave up on me. And if they did, I don't know where I'll be. So let's try to do the same thing. Don't give up on your loved ones. Don't give up on your sons and your daughters. They all go through stuff. It's called life. We all make bad decisions. It's called life. It's about support and help them when they fall down, get up. Solution.
The solution, in my eyes, is like-minded people coming together for one common cause. And that right now is saving Bermuda. We are heading in a direction that I don't even think people realize where we're at. But things are going to get more serious, and they're going to get worse before they get better. Yeah. So the solution is not talking about it, but putting things together and helping our community.
Fitzy touched on something earlier, affection. You know, one of the hardest things we as men find to do is embrace another man and give him a hug and say, I love you. Not too much children are told that at a young age. I grew up never really heard that word as much. Mom and daddy was in my life. But when I reached about, say, 30, 40 years old and I started hearing my mama say, I love you, it was sort of hard to say I love you back because it wasn't something I'm heard all my life. And if I did say it, it wasn't said with meaning. It was just said to be said. You know, we have to start learning to try to teach our young children from young that they are loved. Even in schools, teachers need to even start saying it more to the children because they may not be getting it at home. But the fact that a child could hear someone say, I love you, it adds value to their life.
Reggie, you want to add more real talk to that? If people don't love themselves, how they're supposed to love the next person?
That's very true too. And that's where, like your brother said earlier, dude. No, but like Ryan said, internally, we as people, as elders, have to start look within ourselves. You know, we have to very much stop, look in the mirror, do a reality check, and then say, you know what? How can I better the way I deal with people? Start looking in the mirror and bettering yourself first. Brother Papa, you heard and we ain't heard from you yet.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear something from you.
Nah, man, I don't know what to start.
Say
man.
what you just said.
No, man. All right, the sister said, you can't love nobody but loving yourself first.
Right.
It's like a yin and yang, I want to say, but I think that you can, because you care. Facts. Like you love. You know what I mean? You can love your mama, your child more than you love yourself. You know what I mean? And that's how I look at it, like, because love is love. You know what I mean? I know me. That's how I look at it. Because I love this, who I love more than I love myself. I would do way more for you than I do for myself. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean?
Hey, I was ask a question. If we look back in history, right? How did man and children grow up? Like, if we look back in history as our culture, because we don't really know about our history. If we look back, because they say you can learn from history. Because if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going in it. So, I'm asking anybody here, how did we grow up in history? Do you guys know what was our morals? What was our
what I could say, right? Back in the day, there was a place for the man and there was a place for the woman.
Right.
And every man that stood in his place, right, the woman automatically assumed her position. You understand what I'm saying? She assumed her position because he took his. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't have to come here and say, do this and do that. No. She done that because he was outside of the house doing what he had to do. So now, when you got partnership, that's what happens. And when kids come into the picture, and that man still doing what he's got to do, and the woman's doing what she's got to do, damn kids are going to do what they got to do. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the way partnership works. That's how structure works. You know what I mean? Today, we're having kids making kids. So we really can't expect for these kids to raise kids. It just ain't going to happen. And then you got nanas out there that want to be partying with mama. So who is actually here and watching the kid? The older brother, the older sister, which is still a kid. So we got a lot of things going on that the only way that we could try and tackle this is together. But as long as we're in this mindset of, oh, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You're always going to see down the road, just down the block radio, you're always going to see what you see. Every hood house this. You could go anywhere in Bermuda and you're going to find this. It ain't just Court Street. It ain't just Middletown. It ain't just front. It's everywhere. Because guess what? We are everywhere. And we are doing the same thing everywhere.
That's right.
So we can get all the same results everywhere.
Keep getting the same results over.
Once upon a time, right, it was a village. We don't have the village no more.
What
We
happened-
don't have
what
that no
happened,
more.
though? This is what you gotta see. Then once you find out what happened, you reverse it.
And a lot of things why, a lot of times when things like keep on perpetuating this because there's a lack of awareness. You know, I bought this book called The Myth of Normal by, I forget his name, Gabor. And he said, like, it is proven that disciplining a child physically creates trauma. It's a lot of traumatized people. It's a lot of wounded inner children and people in this island, in this world, you know. And it comes out in how they show up in their adulthood. You know what I mean? How they parent. Like they're parenting their child. Like when you look at, like my mom's touching 80, my dad is in his 90s. That way of disciplining, we think is normal to do that there. It's okay to do it, you know. But that created a lot of traumatized children that came into adults, raised their children in the same way, created more trauma, and lack of self-love, people-pleasing, hypersexuality, drug abuse, all comes from traumatized children. People that were traumatized in their childhood. And then that creates another residual effect in society. So society basically is riddled with wounded people with a wounded child within. You know what I mean?
You're right. I'm gonna touch in on that there, and it's so true of what you're saying. And let me shed light on what's happening that a lot of us not even aware of in this island, from all the killings that's been taking place with a lot of these young men. I was talking with a teacher the other day, and they was telling me about a situation in school where one child wanted to fight this next child just because he came from an area that he had heard was a part of a crew that had killed his uncle. And I'm saying, look at what is spilling out in our schools with regards to when loved ones are feeling hurt from the murders that's taking place, the gang violence that's taking place. We ain't dealt with that part yet. And these are young children that are 10, 11 years old, but look how they're thinking and look how they're acting off of their feelings and emotions of losing their loved ones. You know, this is a serious trauma. Like you said earlier, it's some serious trauma that we're dealing with in this island that we need to start addressing before it gets too far out of control, though it's out of control as it is. You know, and like going back to where we started this whole topic in this barbershop, we need to start providing more words of wisdom to our younger generation. We can't allow for the streets to keep on raising them. We can't allow for social media to keep on having the best of their attention. We need to start allowing ourselves to get more involved with being in their lives. They don't have to be your kids. I don't have no kids, but I have about 30 or 40 godchildren. Your godchildren are the same way to be treated as if they were your own kids. My godchildren today, some of them are up in their 30s. Guess what? When they see me, they still call me godpa. Because if the day they think that they're going to try to call me by my name, that means they don't respect me as their godparent no more. But we have people who allow all of that type of stuff to happen, and they don't understand that that child's losing the respect for them if you're not calling them by that parent name that you've been given.
You're not a stepson, right? What you want him call you? Oh, if you got a stepson, what would you want him call you? If you have a stepson,
I wouldn't want him to call me either. He's going to call me father, or he's going to call me uncle. You know, he's going to call me some name that's with a title that's going to make me feel valued in his life.
Right.
I have a stepdaughter, right? And she calls me Uncle Fitzy. Right. And the reason I tell her to do that is because, one, I don't want her to be confused as to who I am and what I am in her life.
Right.
But I love her like if she was my own. The relationship that I have with her, you would think that she was my own. You know what I mean? So it's you know, I get with the, you know, what you call them. I totally get with that.
I've got a stepson as well, and he calls me Daddy Malachi. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I still let him know who's his daddy. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. But the love's always gonna be there. But it's that sign, like you were saying, like you touched on that, like, you know, some type of title is always, it separates the man from the boy. You know, it lets him know. You want to say something?
Mr. Butler, good to see you here.
Yes. Good afternoon to everybody. Yeah, good afternoon. But I was listening online, like, you know, and a lot of this stuff what I've been hearing has been very relative, you know. But this is the introduction I want to give, if I may. Just a couple of a verse and a chorus, if possible, you know, because too much times the people on the top end got a pass, man. Well, us on the bottom end, how to this high standard, like, you know, and the atmosphere, to me, you know, is not being enhanced for us to thrive down on the lower end. So although the race and all them other things are very much real, and generations have come through them effects, we still refuse in these times to hold them people. I heard the lady mention about accountability. The people on the top being held to no accountability. And this is what I want to assure the people, hear me? It's about time the nozzle gets turned in a different direction. Oh, hold on. Let me take it off for this here. Yeah. Turn up the box, man.
Once we all the politicians them. Sure. Inna your face them a smile up. Behind your back a money them a pile up. Try to start your business and them quick for spoil up. Hey, well done, Mr. Politician.
Well, this is the words, I mean, and more time these are the things that often get overlooked, like, because what we can say, you know, in one frame, you know, we can rely on it in another. Understood. You know, but
Bro, you can't be blaming no politicians, man, because people's gotta live down there. Like, let me
No.
tell you something. I heard this guy named Dr. Miles Monroe, right?
Yes.
He said, yo, if people govern themselves, you wouldn't need a government.
Right.
Okay? Self-governance is the government that any government, God didn't create no government, no external government, you know. He gave you laws for you to govern yourself. And if you govern yourself accordingly, you wouldn't need to be governed by a government. Okay, and guess what? After he gave that speech, he died in an airplane. Because guess what? Governments don't want people governing themselves because they need people. They need to govern people.
Yes, Colin.
Yeah, you say you can't blame government. People must govern themselves. You quoted a while ago and make reference to somebody who wrote a book. Who is he? Who is Dr. Miles Monroe? You see, take both people in consideration. I don't know the one that you speak of prior to. I know Miles Monroe. He's a preacher. So the difference, I think Miles Monroe would be referring to spirituality also. And the Bible said, train up a child in the way he should grow. When he's old, he will not depart. Pastor, who was it that, which one of the prophet died because he did not chastise his children? Eli. Why? God gave him a command and he did not act upon it and he died. So therefore, the stretch for humanity have always been structured by God. And if we deviate, there are consequences. And the world is suffering from that right now. Because as parents, I guess my four parents would have brought up their children probably under a bit of hostility. But then it come down to us and we grew up with a fair level of discipline, which today we can testify of that help us to be a better person and better people. Just like that. Now, I could see Fitzgerald, I know it's Fitzgerald, and he's doing something wrong, and talk to him, and if I have to discipline him, knowing Fitzy know me, he would want to know, what did you do? No, for the average person, not everybody could do that. You understand? And even if you do it and it is right, and the child see the police, there it is, they might just have a charge on you for abuse. And probably what you are saving the child from is far worse than what they are, alleged that you have done. So therefore, there's a whole broad spectrum to the whole thing that need to be viewed, and everybody share their point and see where exactly to cast the blame.
Yes, for real. But what I was trying to show just now via the music It wasn't trying to pass blame or make a way for escape, because self-accountability is a must. So I appreciate the recourse, brethren. But let me say this, sir. For me, the atmosphere in society is created from the top. And so when we look back from whence we came, our grandparents and our great-grandparents, and I heard while I was listening on her, how the structure has broken down. I have to ask myself why. Because if the so-called white man, when he was governing this country, we had a collective unity, right? And we was able to, our grandparents build houses, make money. We was going over there with peas and rice, pork chops, a bottle of black rum, and we was getting things done. Why all of a sudden, or where did the breakdown come as far as our collective unity? So I don't really take too keenly to when somebody says, about giving the politician a pass, because they're the ones that's how to create this mess, right? And nobody's going to tell me nothing about self-accountability and rehabilitation, because like I'm hearing some stories today, I used to smoke a lot of crack, you understand, and at the age of 13 out on the street running around with a few. 50 was one of them. So I understand about accountability and changing one's life, so much so that I managed to find a job down on the waterfront, and still today, 20 years on, working beside border control and customs. I can't even get a waiver. But yet these people on the top, they're still doing a lot of nonsense, are sliding on through the cracks. So when I got a guy like myself, Fitzy, and others that have proved ourselves rehabilitated in the society, what sort of hope is for the youngster that's coming now? How do we stand up in this society and say, yeah, brethren, there's hope. Just stay doing what you're doing, when I can't even take my children to go Disney World? And understanding is a privilege and not a right. But I'm sure myself to be worthy of that privilege. Hence, I'm working down one there. And it's not a job to boast about, because even that's come with its challenges when I consider dealing with the male ego in this country. So unfortunately, man, we're in a place in this country, in my opinion, whereas we continue to side with the status quo. And because collectively we're broken down, and this regime that's in power now has caused all these splintered groups, none of our organizations are functioning right. The union's not functioning right. Every resource that used to be available to build us up is not functioning right. The standard is at an all-time low. So where's the hope? Of course we have to draw on a self-reliance, but what sort of encouragement we got when the resources is not there?
Let me just give my point of view from where he talked about decisions and choices. We made those choices.
That's right.
I made them choices to get high, do a pact, break the law, and what comes with that is what the law sets out. Okay, so let me encourage you in getting a waiver. It's gonna come.
Yes.
Keep trying.
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing, because it took me a while to get it. And when I got my first time I put in for my application, I got a reply in 5 months. I had 1 month to travel. I didn't have the time to plan, so I lost that. I had to put in for another one. Okay, and again 6 months. This was 20-something years ago now. I'm been on my 5th. My waiver expires next year. That'll be my 4th time on a 5-year waiver. That's 20 years. So it comes. You know what I mean? You can't continue to beat up the system that has been put, the structure that's been put in place to govern us to work according to the law, because we have to live by the law. Otherwise, we have anarchy. Bro, we have all sorts of. Hold on. Let me just finish.
The system.
No. I'm just saying. You said that, and this is where I translated it. You're working on the docks. You're working with these people, but you can't travel. But that came because of what you done. But it's gonna come. Hold on.
Don't take it out of context.
Okay.
So I need not to mention my employment.
Right.
No. I only mention my employment.
What I want to try to say is that I'm trying to encourage you. You will get that waiver. You will travel. See it and believe it.
Yeah, but let me show you. See, look.
Yes.
What with what Joshua was just saying, and even with what you're saying, I think what we're all failing to realize is that, yes, we do have governments in place. We have people that we vote to be in these positions. When a government, I ain't saying no government, but when a government the other day had won the second term around, one of the members came out on the stage on Court Street. And you know what they said? They said, you, the people, need to hold us accountable. Because when we're doing wrong, we need you, the people, to be the ones to let us know if we're doing right or wrong. But the problem is that we, the people, have no voice to get to the government to let them know when they're right or when they're wrong. But the problem is that what we're starting right now is a voice. And until we start get the masses in numbers with our voice, the governments are going to still think that everything they're doing is right in their eyes. Because as long as there's only 2, 3, 4, 5, until when they see hundreds or thousands showing concern and coming out and then very much wanting to let them know that we need to start holding you accountable, that's the only time they're going to start seeing things differently.
I always say, I said, when they had that protest march, the taxi drivers, the fishermen down at the airport, remember they had that protest? I said, why has it taken so long for, bring it up. I said, why has it taken so long for Bermudians? If you're not happy, if the OBA was in power, UBP was in power, we strike, we protested all the while. So if you're not happy, why are you afraid to talk? Why are you afraid to speak up?
We got all the right people in the wrong positions. I say it again. In my opinion, you got all the right people in the wrong positions. And a lot of times, in my opinion, people can't separate who they are from what they do. So when I made reference to this waiver situation, you know, it's not about I'm only building a point. I'm trying to make a point. What hope it is for our young people. I heard guys talking about our young males. This is the same regime that done away with the rehabilitation certificate. So I understand all too well about the process and about being patient. And my time will come because that's the Father I serve. You know? So it's not about me grudgeful and understanding, laws in place and can't abide by laws. God has positioned me in where I am in my life because of that very movement. Being humble and being, you know what I'm saying? But what hope? I'm saying, what hope do we have to encourage the young people? We could tell them this and that, tell them our story. But if an atmosphere is not created, we can't take a young man downtown. Yeah, man. And it's not being created from the top. But that's when we want to give these people a pass. It's not the politicians' fault. When the OBA, like you said, was in power, we was all downtown. But now, everybody's trying to protect the interests.
So I'm gonna answer your question, right, based off of what I truly believe. The hope that these young guys have is the time and investment that we are willing to give them. You understand what I'm saying? If we're not willing to give them our time and our investment, because remember, the characters that we see is created off of lack of time, lack of love, lack of care, lack of investment. If we can start to give one or some damn things, then the hope is going. Because we're taking it away. Us, guys like you and I are taking it away. I'm working with a young man now. He's 13 years old. Right? I'm about to bring him into my hand. His mama's doing her best to raise him. But what the little boy needs, he needs a male figure. Because at 13, he responds different to man appears to woman. You understand what I'm saying? The attitude don't work over here. And I tell him, I said, I'm going to love you until you learn to love yourself. And sometimes that loving can be so pleasant. But I'm going to love you. I didn't have that.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, I like when you hear testimony, you know, because everybody's been through stuff. You know, I used to go a party, done my thing. Now it's been over a year. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I train. I don't do none of that. You know what I mean? Because it was a saying I saw once, right? It said, you have to be the change you want to see in the world. I seen that saying once, right? I saw it, right? And I said, I said, you know what? I'm going to try to do that. So I stopped. I stopped smoking, stopped drinking, stopped. So I'm trying to do that. So when my stepson sees me growing up, because he watched me. I said, I'm not going to drink and smoke no more. He watched me. He said, stepdad, you ain't smoking, drinking? I said, yeah, see that? Just finished. And I said it's just mind over matter. So this is what he's growing up seeing. Teach them that. So this was one of the lessons that I was showing it. But I'll tell you something, right? It was a lady. A lady. She has a child in private school, right? She came to me. She said, private school is meant for entrepreneurs and bosses. Public school is meant for employees. So this is what somebody that's got their children in private school telling me that, right? So I was saying this. So when they told me that, I thought about it, and I said, well, when you think about it, what do they got in the schools that's enhancing even children's gifts? Like I talk about children's gift. I talked about it before on my page. They got naturally gifted children. I mean, not a skill, nothing that you have to learn, like a natural gift. And nobody's enhancing the children's natural gifts because that's something that they can feed themselves with. They can feed their family with. Like you got natural kids who could play an instrument naturally, will make real good. Naturally just can draw, like just from a natural, like what nature, I believe like nature gives everybody, like nature gives everybody something, a means to make money. If you enhance on that, whether you're singing, whether you're dancing, whether you're an artist, whether you're a painter, whether you're a carpenter, whether you just like to cook pies, and you open up a pie shop, best pies in town, and you make money doing that. But we don't enhance our children's gifts from small. From small, you have to see what this child does, and he loves doing that. And you put him in that class, and you teach him. That becomes one of your trades. Like you teach him, say, look, all right, the time they leave. Like, what's the grade now? It's not P12 no more. What was that? C7 was in school. We had P7 back then. Now it's like middle school. I think it's different. M3 and all that, right? So I was saying, like the time, like say you got a kid, you see it's good if it's hand through carpentry, he likes to do all this carpentry from small. So then you get once he gets in like before he goes to high school, he gets a certificate in that trade, almost gets or close to it. By the time he leaves high school, he's got a certificate. The last year in high school, you teach him how to get business cards. You teach him how to what it takes to get a van. You teach him how to advertise. So when he leaves there, he's got a business. And if you get one child leave school, and that's got a business, that's got his own business, he hires 5 children, 5 guys. That 5 guys got 2 children. So his is feeding at least 15 people right there. One kid that's leaving school got a van, made a little business, and he's got like 2 or 3 people working for him, and they got children. So imagine if we done that on the masses. Yes. And tell me, I want to ask a question. Why is it 2 types of education? What's the problem? What's up with that?
I can't give you a definite answer for that, but that's just the way the system set. You know, social engineering's been taking place in this country for a long time. Yeah. You know, I came around here specifically because, you know, as a father of 6 and 4 boys, you know, issues like this really touch me deeply, you know. And I came on the line that I came on because I came up in the system, you know what I mean? I came up in the system, and to see the system continuously functioning worse 40 years on, you know, it really breaks my heart. And I emailed these people the other day, right? And I CC'd in all of them, requesting that the sentencing requirements or the sentencing practices for our young males will change. This was my rationale. You got a hardened criminal. They're talking about sex offenders. You know, got a year, 6 months, repeat offenders. But our young people get caught stealing a bike. They send them up the home for this period they call approved society, or down the career for 9 months to 3 years. And they're being judged. They're being assessed by a lot of unstable minds themselves. So a sentence or a crime that could have taken 6 months in the big prison is taking these young boys sometimes 18 to 2 years, even 3 years to get out. And then they're being dumped back on the street when they're 18 without the proper living skills, no tools, it's no structure. They got all these people in these places that are not trained adequately to deal with the dysfunction that this country is facing.
And I'm in prison.
Right?
I'm in prison.
So,
and I'm going to tell you right now, it's not, everybody thinks, oh, you go to prison, you got TV, it's nice. It's not like that.
It's not like that. So, my thing is, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Because everybody's frustrated around here, right? And it's sad. And until we're ready to stand up and say, you know, exact that same energy, I'm not calling for no violence, but I accept that same energy of disappointment and disapproval that was shown some years ago. This country's going to continue to regress, man.
We got 15 minutes left. We got 15 minutes left. We got 15 minutes left. We have 15 minutes left, I'm trying to say, to wrap it up. Live Wires has just walked in. Live Wires has just walked in. He's from the hood. You know, he has seen the struggle. Sister, before we close, thank you for even being in the shop. Hang on, bro. I'm coming. Hang on. You just had the mic for about 3 minutes. Hold your corner. Hold your corner. The sister, I want to just say thank you for showing up. Anything in closing?
I would just say, let's stop talking about stuff and let's get to doing. We need a syndicate of people in this country that are going to commit their time and their energy to helping our community get back up. As the brethren just said, we're regressing. We have regressed. And you know why? Because we are reactive. There is nothing proactive that goes on in this country. And they do it in the name of money, so then you're just wasting money on these different projects. Instead of doing it right the first time, you're going 10, 20 million over. And that could be going in somebody's pocket. There's a lot going on, and they want a broken system, but a broken system is going to have a broken society, and are they ready for the repercussions of it?
I want to just say something before we conclude, because Kendrick brought something to my attention today. We had a headline today where it says that 2/3 of our population has left. 2/3. Take a look at that. Regurgitate that. Think about it, because the next time we're going to talk about it. We'll have more Bermudans that have left Bermuda within the last 10 years than ever before in the. So it's not even a question. I know what the question is. The question is why? Why? And the question is that you can't afford to live in Bermuda. We got food prices, electricity, health, medication, and hospital. We cannot afford to live in Bermuda. When are we, as Bermudians, going to stop this trend? When are we going to say something? When are we going to stand up and make some noise? Come in. Come in.
It's the world's problem.
Yeah, it's a world
going around the world.
Right.
It's how we are governing and how we are making the laws and different.
Here in Bermuda.
Right here in Bermuda, I can't talk about nowhere else.
We can stop it. We can stop it.
We can, but are we? There's a lot of talk that happens in this country. Nobody's doing anything about it. So I'm just saying, let's do something.
Likewise. Take the mic for a minute.
Yes, greetings. Bless Empress. Greetings, everybody. Blessed love. Yes. Well, action. Like the sister said, action. And action, we know what I call practice. So we got to practice. Practice sharing more love, sharing more solidarity, sharing more care. The word government tells you right there. They're going to tell you what to do, so don't pay attention to the government. The government's they're just going to screw us all. So whichever one of you that's in the government, I don't care how you feel right now, your actions is how we feel. This is why we feel the way we feel. So I'm just saying that we need to come together. Remember before? Sharing's caring. If I had 2, you had 1. If it's 4 of us, you break it in quarters or something. Give me a chip, man. Mad chip. Mad piece. Give me a piece. We got to share. We ain't sharing. People sold out. That's why they ain't sharing. So right on long out. So let's just talk it what it is. See? So come in solidarity. We used to eat out of one pot. We got to cook and share food with each other. You see it? Yeah, man, what happened? We're going to let these people feed us. If they feed us, we die faster. Conveniently. Convenience stores. Conveniently. Killing you quickly. Check it out, man. We got to eat what's essential. We're not eating God's food. You know what I mean? So that's what we got to do, man. You know what I mean? Come together. That's the answer. The solution is us working with each other. Us living with each other. Loving each other. You know what I'm saying? Caring for each other. And only speaking good about each other, because everywhere you turn is negative things on TV. Somebody's got something bad to say. Let's uplift each other. Uplift each other.
You ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing.
Yeah, silence is good, and you can keep it to yourself. If the person with an angry heart, his heart's gonna consume him. You see it? So we can't be angry. Whatever emotions, energy you're walking with, you attract that. You see it? So we are what we think, we are what we eat. So now you can just change that frequency. We gotta come think with high frequency. Keep the low frequency away, you know what I mean? Healing. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I would just like to say my last piece, right? And encourage each one of us, starting with myself, to be more selfless instead of selfish. Because that's what we need. You know what I mean? And I contribute my part by trying to help some young man in some shape or form. You know, so he wouldn't turn out like how I did. You know what I mean? Because if we could save one, we're saving a lot. You know, and I just want to say this, right? I go up to schools and I talk to these young guys, and I want to go back to something Kendrick said. You tell these guys, come here and embrace them and give them a hug, they put the hat on. These guys are 14, 15, 16, 17, and never heard anybody tell them they love them. Imagine that. And I just want people to think about that. Like, just think about that. So what are we really expecting these kids to do, man? We're not even doing just a little bit to help them feel like they're worthy, that they're valued, that they're worth it. You know what I mean? Hey, we could go on and on, but I just encourage people to be selfless instead of selfish. And things will change.
I would just like to touch on that there. Yes, we need to encourage each other more. Love each other more for the children. When we lay out all the things, that's what's wrong with what's going on right now. Like 50 said, you don't get parents say they love you. People, some will say the education system. Some will say what's going on in the home. So there's so much different reasons. We can lay them all out, and each reason affects a child so different. So what we have to do as a community, we have to get together, start an organization. I don't know who will be the leader or how would they start it, and think of times where we're gonna get together and find a solution to the problem. Because our elder told me today, said it's not about talk, it's about action. It's about, even though this is called a talk, but we want some action. But before I close out and go, I just want to say this little poem. This is just a quick thing. It just what I want to say is a quick thing. It goes like this. Life is all about let me show you. Let me stand up. Yeah. To show love to one another is life's greatest joy. So uplift your people and don't destroy. And get together and start to create. And always show love and never show hate. Your worst enemy could be your best mate. And the little that you have, you should appreciate. And teach the youths the right way when you educate. So when they graduate, we shall all celebrate. Because the most important thing is education. And your greatest asset is determination. So don't be afraid to use your imagination. And every dog has his day. So please be patient.
Yes, my brother. Yes.
To the Barbers. Well, it was nice for you to be here and getting everybody's views on what goes on in the country and in people's mind. Hopefully the little talk here today will bring about some difference and everybody will get something of value from it. So hopefully all goes well and take care.
Right. Brother James.
Yes, Trevor. It was a blessing having you here today. What you have done and doing, have shedding a lot of light on what is happening in Bermuda. I really hope and trust that what happened here today will be some impact to people who is listening out there and create something better for the youth. Because without the youth, we have nothing. Because they are the future. So we would definitely like to see, a better growth for the youth. And I plead to the government because they're the ones who make the laws. You have to go by the law, govern by the law. So, you know, we plead to the government to make some changes. We need some changes.
Yes.
And I hope you come again, Trevor. And I must say, thanks again. We really appreciate you coming today. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, people. Here we are. We are Universal Barbershop here on Court Street. You know, we're enjoyed being here with these barbers with so much experience, so much wisdom, so much knowledge. And we're glad to know that we can come here and have them wanting to share their barbershop with the men's store. Pastor?
Bless you, brother. Well, in conclusion, I like to just be able to use the scripture that comes from the book of Malachi, and it says this in chapter 3 of verse number 6. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers, God shall do this, to the children, and the hearts of the children to the fathers. And we started out in relation to especially fathers in the lives of their sons. And what's really missing, brothers, is that. Now, I heard my sister and a lot of us allude to no, not much talking. We need action. But you got to start somewhere. So talking is good. Don't exclude talking, because this is how you find solutions. But I certainly believe, as I had started out, the foundation on which Bermudians, especially fathers, need to be laid is the foundation that cannot be destroyed. The scripture says, there had no foundation that is laid. No, if the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? And the foundation is eroded. And the foundation that we need to get back to, in my humble belief and opinion, is God and His Word. And if fathers would learn how to know to be fathers, they'll learn, because the scripture says, you may have many instructors in Christ, but not many fathers. So his fathers are important. And also the scripture tells us in conclusion, it says, fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the fear and the admonition of the Lord. And that's where we're lacking. We get back to that, we'd have a better society. And so I say this, society is messed up because the government is messed up. The government is messed up because society is messed up. Society is messed up because mothers are messed up. Mothers are messed up because, or children are messed up. And children are messed up because fathers are messed up.
Yes. Again, here we have it, people. Man's Talk, the Universal Barbershop here on Court Street. It's been a great day to see so many people come into this barbershop and have some good open dialogue, testimonies, share stories. And from this, we are looking to very much produce some change. We are looking to want to get people together to put forth some stuff that we can help embrace, bond, connect, and help make this island a better place. Brother Trevor?
Yeah, let me close out. This has been real discussion today. I've been overly blessed being here amongst brethren, you know, in the barbershop. We are endeavoring to continue on throughout Bermuda. So if you want us to come down at your location, may it be St. George, Crowell, Flats, give us a shout. Myself, 595-1027. Kendrick, 703-5547. Give us a call. We'll create a date, and we'll come down. Bring your area out. Bring your some of your patrons out. We're looking to just have more discussion, and we want solutions. We want to get our voice out there. Come in, Kendrick. Just talk.
And before we go, we didn't start off this way, but we have to end it this way. We will say a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you have very much provided us to be able to come into Universal Barbershop, share some men talk with men, help strengthen men, women as well, uplift each other. But most of all, God, you have allowed us to come here and share love. and affection with each other. We call upon your power, your spirit, your energy for assistance and help wherever we go as we leave her, Father. And for all the people that have been here today, we pray and ask that may you be with them as they go throughout the rest of their journey. And whomever they come into contact with, God, may the words that cometh out of their mouth and the meditation of their hearts be acceptable in the sight of all people. In the name of Jesus, we all say, Amen.
So one of my, I could always close out with, this is a weekend, Friday nights, Front Street's going to be lit, other places are going to be lit. Don't drink or drive. If you're going to drink, get a designated driver, get a taxi. The life you save could be your own. Sure. Peace and blessings.
Amen.
Bless you.